the perfect dish. In the heart of the city, Chef Marco was known for his exquisite culinary creations. Tonight was a special occasion. He was preparing a meal for an esteemed food critic, Julian Voss, whose reviews could make or break a restaurant's reputation. As Marco meticulously prepped in his bustling kitchen, the pressure weighed heavily on him. "Tonight has to be perfect," he muttered to himself, slicing vegetables with surgical precision. But as the clock ticked down, doubts crept in. What if Julian didn't appreciate his flavors? What if the critic thought he was a fraud? The paranoia gnawed at him, and each chop of the knife felt heavier. In a moment of distraction, his hand slipped, and the blade sliced through the flesh of his finger. Pain shot through him as he stared in shock. Blood dripped onto the cutting board, staining the vegetables in crimson. Panic surged within him. "No, no, not now," he cried, wrapping his hand in a cloth. But as the minutes slipped away and he struggled to maintain his composure, rage bubbled to the surface. In a fit of manic fury, he made a decision that would change everything. With a sickening resolve, he sliced off a small piece of the severed finger, the sharp edge of the knife glistening under the kitchen lights. He mixed the grim secret ingredient into his signature sauce, convinced it would elevate the dish to a level of perfection only he could achieve. When the doorbell chimed, Marco's heart raced. He hurried to the dining area, presenting the dish with a flourish, the aroma wafting through the air. Julian, impeccably dressed and with an air of authority, took his seat, eyeing the meal before him. Looks intriguing, a smirk playing on his lips. But Marco could barely breathe as the critic took a bite. The world seemed to slow, each second stretching into an eternity. Julian chewed slowly, his expression unreadable. But as he swallowed, color drained from his face. His eyes widened in horror, and he clutched his throat, gasping for air. The elegant facade of the critic shattered as he struggled, choking on the very meal Marco had prepared with such fervor. "Is it too spicy? Did you not like it?" Marco stammered, disbelief flooding his mind. He stepped closer, panic overtaking him as Julian's face turned a ghastly shade of gray. Julian's eyes bulged and he pointed desperately at his throat, a silent plea for help. Marco felt a cold sweat break out across his brow, a sense of dread engulfing him. The critic's hand fell to the table, knocking over a glass of wine as he crumpled forward, unable to scream. In a heartbeat, the once vibrant kitchen felt hollow. The weight of what he had done crashed down on Marco as he stumbled back, the realization sinking in. The perfect dish had become a perfect nightmare. The room swirled around him, and as he turned to flee, he caught a glimpse of Julian's lifeless body, the fork still clutched in his cold hand. The last remnants of pride shattered within Marco. He rushed to the door, desperate to escape the horror of his own creation, but it felt as if the walls were closing in on him, the echoes of his own madness reverberating through the air. The perfect meal had become a macabre masterpiece, and Marco knew there would be no escaping the consequences of his rage.